The story of Israel's creation begins long before 1948. For centuries, the land known as Palestine held deep religious and historical significance for the Jewish people. It was their ancestral homeland, the land of their forefathers, and the site of their ancient kingdom. Despite periods of exile and dispersal, the Jewish connection to this land remained strong.
By the late 19th century, facing rising anti-Semitism in Europe, a movement emerged that sought to return Jews to their ancient homeland. This movement, known as Zionism, argued for the creation of a Jewish state in Palestine. Theodor Herzl, a Jewish journalist from Austria, became a leading figure in the Zionist movement. Herzl believed that only a Jewish state could offer safety and security for the Jewish people. His book, published in 1896, argued passionately for this vision and galvanized the Zionist movement. Jewish immigration to Palestine increased in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, driven by both Zionist aspirations and growing persecution in Europe.
World War I brought significant changes to the Middle East, including Palestine. In 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, a document that would have far-reaching consequences. The declaration expressed support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine.
While the declaration did not explicitly promise a Jewish state, it was seen as a major victory for the Zionist movement. After the war, the League of Nations granted Great Britain a mandate over Palestine. The British were tasked with administering the territory and creating conditions for the establishment of a Jewish homeland according to the terms of the Balfour Declaration. The British Mandate period from 1920 to 1948 was a time of growing tension and conflict. Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, particularly following the rise of Nazi Germany. This influx, however, led to resentment among the Arab population, who feared being displaced from their own land.
The horrors of the Holocaust during World War II had a profound impact on the situation in Palestine. The systematic murder of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime shocked the world and strengthened the case for a Jewish state. It highlighted the urgent need for a safe haven where Jews could live free from persecution.
In the aftermath of the war, the question of Palestine's future became a pressing international issue. The United Nations, formed in 1945, took up the challenge of finding a solution. In 1947, the UN General Assembly voted to partition Palestine into 2 states, one Jewish and one Arab.
Jerusalem, a city sacred to both Jews and Muslims, was to be placed under international control. The Jewish leadership accepted the partition plan, hoping it would finally lead to a state of their own. The Arab leadership, however, rejected the plan outright. They opposed the creation of a Jewish state in any form and argued that it would be unjust to the Arab population of Palestine.
Section 4. Birth of a Nation, Israel's War of Independence. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the State of Israel. The declaration fulfilled a long-held Zionist dream and marked the end of nearly 2 millennia of Jewish statelessness. The very next day, armies from neighboring Arab states invaded the newly formed Israel. They were determined to prevent the establishment of a Jewish state by force. This conflict, known as Israel's War of Independence, raged for nearly a year. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Israeli forces fought fiercely to defend their fledgling state. They were driven by a deep sense of purpose and the memory of the Holocaust. By the war's end in 1949, Israel had not only survived, but had also expanded its territory beyond the UN partition lines. Section 5. Early challenges and the path forward. The war's end did not bring peace to the region. The conflict had a devastating impact on the Palestinian Arab population. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes, becoming refugees in neighboring Arab countries. This displacement, known as the Palestinian Exodus, or Nakba, remains a source of immense suffering and a key issue in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Israel faced numerous challenges in its early years. The young nation had to absorb hundreds of thousands of Jewish immigrants from Europe and Arab countries, build a functioning economy, and create a cohesive society from diverse backgrounds. The threat of further conflict with its Arab neighbors loomed large. Despite these challenges, Israel persevered. It developed a strong military, a vibrant democracy, and a thriving economy. the journey has not been without its difficulties. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains unresolved, and the search for a lasting peace continues to this day. The creation of Israel stands as a testament to the resilience and determination of the Jewish people.